small bag of powder sits quietly on a dusty shelf in a hardware store. Most people walk past it without a second glance. It costs $3. No electricity, no cables, no humming machines, no monthly bills. Yet this simple powder has the power to eliminate humidity completely and permanently. It doesn't simply control moisture the way expensive devices claim to do. It transforms moisture into something solid, locking it away forever. Builders have quietly relied on this exact material for more than a century. The chemistry behind it is neither secret nor complicated. Military engineers used it in bunker walls during both World Wars, and Victorian builders used the same method inside stone tunnels built in 1850. Those tunnels remain completely dry and structurally sound even today. And yet, despite this knowledge, existing for generations, 60% of American homes still struggle with humidity problems. The solution was never missing. It was simply hidden. Every year, millions of homeowners battle the same frustrating cycle. Basements smell damp and musty all year long. Walls develop dark stains that return after every rainfall. People purchase a $300 dehumidifier, hoping the problem will finally disappear. The machine runs night after night while electricity bills quietly climb higher. Mold gets scrubbed away once, then again, only to return months later. Many try those salt crystal moisture traps from big box stores, replacing them week after week because they fill up within days. At some point, the spending becomes impossible to track. Hundreds of dollars disappear into temporary fixes that never truly solve the problem. Eventually, a contractor is called in. After inspecting the space, a quote appears: $4,000 for a waterproofing treatment. The work gets done, and for a while, things improve. But 2 years later, the moisture creeps back again, just like before. The truth is uncomfortable. This isn't just a maintenance issue, it's an industry model. The waterproofing industry in the United States generates about $12 billion every year. Add another $3 billion from dehumidifier manufacturers, and the number becomes even more staggering. That entire system depends on one simple belief continuing to exist. Homeowners must believe there is no permanent solution. If a simple method costing only a few dollars solved humidity forever, the entire market would collapse overnight. Yet the science has existed for nearly 2 centuries. The story begins in 1834 with a chemist working just outside London. His name was Edward Dobson. Without large funding or powerful institutions supporting him, Dobson focused on a problem builders had struggled with for generations: underground moisture, destroying stone and brick foundations. He experimented with materials builders had already used for thousands of years. Lime had been part of mortar since Roman engineers built their roads and aqueducts. But Dobson noticed something different when lime was exposed directly to air. His discovery was simple but powerful. Hydrated lime, also known as calcium hydroxide, reacts chemically with moisture in the air. Instead of absorbing water like a sponge or filter, it consumes it. The moisture molecules bind to the lime in a process called carbonation. This reaction transforms the water and lime into calcium carbonate, which is essentially limestone. And once that transformation happens, the moisture cannot return to the air. The reaction is permanent. Dobson documented his findings, and engineers immediately began applying the method. Victorian railway builders packed hydrated lime into tunnel walls and underground structures. Workers quickly noticed a clear difference. Tunnel sections lined with lime stayed completely dry, while untreated sections developed seepage and mineral deposits. The results repeated across project after project. Many of those tunnels built in 1850 still stand today, dry after more than 170 years without electricity or maintenance. By 1910, major construction firms in America already understood this principle. Hydrated lime appeared in foundation specifications for hospitals, military bases, and large industrial buildings. During both World Wars, the War Department used hydrated lime inside bunker walls. Not as an experiment, but because it was the most reliable solution available. Later studies confirmed the effectiveness of passive desiccants like lime compared to mechanical dehumidifiers. In one controlled experiment, 2 identical rooms were monitored for 90 days. One room contained a standard dehumidifier. The other contained hydrated lime trays. The result surprised many observers. The lime-treated room recorded humidity levels 43% lower than the room relying on the machine. And while the dehumidifier consumed roughly 900 watts of electricity daily, the lime required 0 power. Over a full year, the difference in cost became obvious. A dehumidifier can cost around $40 every month in electricity. 3 bags of hydrated lime cost about $9 for an entire year of use. The Environmental Protection Agency once surveyed more than 4,000 homes across 8 states and discovered that about 60% showed signs of moisture damage below their foundations. That means roughly 80 million households deal with damp basements or crawl spaces. In half of those homes, the damage wasn't cosmetic at all. Wood structures were rotting, steel reinforcement bars were rusting, and concrete was slowly deteriorating. Contractors usually treat the visible symptoms while the real cause remains untouched. The actual problem is vapor pressure, forcing moisture through porous walls. When hydrated lime sits inside the space, it consumes the vapor before it ever reaches the walls. Without vapor pressure, moisture cannot push through the structure. The principle is simple and has remained unchanged since Victorian engineers first applied it. So why does almost nobody know about this today? The answer lies in classification. In the United States, hydrated lime is labeled as a construction material instead of a consumer product. Consumer products get marketing campaigns, labels, and shelf space where homeowners can easily see them. Construction materials are placed in contractor supply sections, often behind counters or in masonry aisles that ordinary shoppers rarely visit. Hydrated lime isn't placed next to dehumidifiers or mold removal sprays. It sits quietly among cement and brick materials. Invisible to the average homeowner about to spend thousands on waterproofing services, that placement was not random. Building codes and material classifications are influenced by committees that include representatives from large construction and chemical industry organizations. These groups help determine which materials are marketed directly to consumers and which remain within professional supply chains. Because of this system, many waterproofing contractors operate under agreements that limit what solutions they can recommend. In several states, industry associations include clauses discouraging contractors from suggesting do-it-yourself alternatives outside their service offerings. The stated reason is liability protection, but the financial incentive is clear. A contractor recommending a $3 solution eliminates the possibility of a $5,000 job. For organizations built around service revenue, that recommendation threatens the entire business structure. Most homeowners never see these agreements, and many contractors never question them. The result is a cycle where temporary solutions dominate the market while simpler methods remain largely unknown. Yet the process itself is extremely straightforward. Hydrated lime is widely available at hardware stores under names like calcium hydroxide or Mason's lime. It typically comes in 25-pound bags priced between $3 and $5. The important detail is choosing hydrated lime specifically, not agricultural lime and not quicklime. A wide, shallow container, such as an aluminum tray, is filled with the powder about 2 inches deep and placed directly in the humid area, whether that is a basement, crawl space, or storage room. The container remains open so the lime can interact with the surrounding air. Over the next couple of weeks, a white crust begins forming on the surface. That crust signals carbonation starting to occur. As the reaction continues, the material slowly hardens into a solid block of calcium carbonate. Once the tray fully hardens, the moisture has already been converted into stone. The block can simply be discarded outside and replaced with fresh lime. For areas with heavy humidity, one tray is typically used for every 100 square feet. For lighter maintenance conditions, one tray can handle around 300 square feet. Placement near the floor works best because moisture tends to concentrate at ground level. Over time, the trays quietly remove vapor without noise, power, or moving parts. Homeowners who have experimented with the method have reported dramatic changes in humidity levels within weeks. In one documented case, a basement that consistently measured between 70% and 80% humidity dropped to 51% after 2 months, using only a few trays of lime. Within 4 months, the space stabilized around 47%, comfortably below the level where mold thrives. The total cost for months of treatment remained barely above $10. This knowledge was never lost to history. It simply shifted away from public awareness. A compound used in Roman construction and military bunkers still exists on store shelves today, but its position within the store quietly keeps it out of sight. Machines costing hundreds dominate the aisles while a $3 bag of lime waits unnoticed nearby. The chemistry never changed. The only thing that changed was who people were told about it.